is Carlin on 98.7 ESPN.
Lightning round version. That's right, Carlin, 702. Load them up. Open lines, 800-919-3776. A mere half hour before Knicks pregame, right here on 98.7 ESPN. Video stream, as always, ESPN New York 98.7's Twitter feed and on Facebook as well, ESPN New York's Facebook page. And of course, you can tweet me at Chris Carlin. I have been thinking more and more and more about how much is too much. How much is too much? Look, you know I'm a big Deshaun Watson guy, okay? I'm a huge believer in going out and getting him if you're the New York Jets. For that matter, if you're the New York Giants. But I honestly have an issue thinking about what the actual price tag could be. Now, if Deshaun Watson decides that's the only place that I want to go play is with the Jets, then it's going to be a much different situation than maybe they expect. But, I hear over the course of a few days, I heard Schefter the other day on with Greeny saying how if you're a Jets fan, maybe you don't want to get your hopes up about this happening. Maybe it's not Watson that wants to come and play for the Jets. Whatever the situation is, you have to go and investigate and do as much as you can. But honestly, how much can you do? What is acceptable? Because when you think back, even though these types of players, when they have been moved before, have been dynamic players in so many ways, giving away everything just feels like ultimately you're going to end up in a bad spot. Like, we can't let this turn into the Herschel Walker trade. You really can't. And I have been of the thought throughout the course of the last couple of weeks that 3 number 1 picks is a fair price. And now you hear from John McClain, who we had on last week, from Houston, a guy who's plugged in on the Texans, that they're looking more like 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, and 2 defensive starters. That may be what they want, but let's be honest. They're not getting that much. They can't get that much. And I think that's probably from the team side to try to put out there exactly what they're looking for. That to me is just too much to do at this point. And there was a time where I even was thinking about getting a little crazy with it. But the Jets just have so many holes on this roster. I mean, the roster is a hole with a couple of notable exceptions. So how can you possibly give away 3 number 1 picks, Sam Darnold, and a number 2 pick? Like, you can't give away just absolutely everything to get Deshaun Watson here. I love the guy. And what I love about him is that it's not just about trying to win right now. It wouldn't be, in fact, about trying to win right now. It would be about trying to win in the long term with a guy that's going to be very manageable on the salary cap in the future. And a guy that's a top 5 quarterback in the sport right now. And someone that I think could absolutely be a future Hall of Famer. Having said all that, if you do it right, that's a lot of capital to hand away in terms of drafting. If you do it like the Cowboys did it in the Herschel Walker trade, you end up much better off for it. The Jets have accumulated all of this capital to get to this position, to where you could do something if it presented itself, to where you could make a very reasonable offer for someone that is that level of player. But where's the line? Where's the line for you? That's what I want to know right now. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN. We're going to hit the calls here in very short order because we have a very short show tonight. Where is the line? 3 number ones? 3 number ones, 2 number twos? Sam Darnold, Quinnen Williams? I mean, I don't even think they would really want Sam, but when you consider what they're going to get in return, it feels like the Texans want you to keep throwing all different kinds of offers at them to see what they can get and to see where they can convince Deshaun to go. Look, Deshaun can make this very easy on the team where he wants to go. This is the brilliance of this contract that he signed not a year ago. He can determine where he's going to go, and he can help determine what that new team of his is going to have to pay to get him. Because if he tells the Houston Texans that the Miami Dolphins are the only team I'm going to go to, that the New York Jets are the only team I'm going to go to, then there's no getting around the fact that that price drops because their options are limited. But if you're Deshaun Watson, does it behoove you to do that or to ride it out and leave it open to a couple of different places? To me, if you're the Jets right now, if you have competition in this, real competition, you have to be ultra careful. I've said all along that I have a line of demarcation. And I even got to thinking about it yesterday when I started to hear that you're talking about 2 defensive starters. Would I throw Quinnen Williams in there? Would I do this? Would I do that? And I hear, Mike Tannenbaum. Take a listen to Mike Tannenbaum discussing this trade and the possibilities around it and what the prices are and how you handle it. Mike had this to say earlier because, listen, nobody knows this stuff inside and out like Mike Tannenbaum does.
Gotcha.
I think he goes for at least 3 ones and a really good player. And if I'm the Houston, I have to reconcile the fact that he's saying he's not coming back. I think at some point Cal McNair has to answer the question, what environment did he create that several months ago Deshaun Watson signs this big contract? He's one of the stars of our sports. He's a great player. He's a great person. He's a great leader. He's 25 years old. He's under contract for 5 years, and he wants to leave. Why is that? Now, with that said, once they reconcile that they have to trade him, there is a sense of urgency because at some point, these other teams that need quarterbacks are going to look for alternatives. So if I was them, I would act as fast as possible.
And it doesn't feel like that's necessarily going to happen. It feels like it may play out longer and maybe get up until the draft. Dan Orlovsky, what's his take on getting this done?
It's a home run for the Los Angeles Rams. Listen, the Rams right now are in a 2-year window. They're not building for the long term. They have chosen to go from good to great, or at least take the chance to go from good to great. And they wanted to pair 2 greats together. Like Sean McVay's a great offensive mind. He's a great head coach, and they're going to pair him with a great quarterback. And so for the Rams, this now vaults them to that top 3 or 4 list when it comes to Super Bowl contenders next year, especially in the NFC, guys. Like the NFC, there's question marks. Green Bay's at the top, but they have some pieces that they're going to have to try to re-sign. We'll see what happens with some of the pieces in Tampa Bay, obviously, but this was a no-brainer for the Los Angeles Rams. It gives Matthew Stafford the opportunity to actually be on a really competent football team, and so I love the move for them.
See, this is what we're talking about. Similar to where the Jets are, except they're much further along in the process, the Rams recognized that they needed the right quarterback because they are much more in win-now mode. So they went and overpaid not just to get Matthew Stafford, but to get rid of Jared Goff and get somebody to take him off their hands. So how much are the Jets going to have to overpay for the level of player that Watson is? I don't think it's so nuts that it just completely went off the charts with what happened with Stafford. I don't think it was really affected by it at all. Watson was always going to cost you a fortune. Where are you willing to go? For me, it ends at 3 number ones or 2 number ones, a 2, and Quinn and Williams, something along those lines. It does not extend much further beyond that. Because while Watson would be here to win for the long haul, the Jets cannot afford to hand away all of the pieces that they need and make the rebuilding process even longer. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN, 800-919-3776. Lightning round. Your calls next. 800-919-3776. Let's go.
How cute.
30 seconds to FanDuel, Carlin.
Okay.
I apologize.
No, all good.
One of those new hybrid.
I was like, Carlin's saying something. I'm paying attention. Brain, hit the button. Hit the button. Which button?
No, we were good. We set it up okay.
Yeah, no.
Allergenic.
Win money on the dot with Money Dots from the New York Lottery. Look for it where Quick Draw is played.
Brendan Brown says hi.
It's a lottery
Hey,
ticket. You must be
Brendan
21 years
Brown.
or older to purchase a
Yeah.
Quick Draw ticket where alcoholic beverages are served.
Coming at you here.
Celebrate the 55th edition of the big game with exclusive 55-1 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook. And if you've never tried FanDuel before, new users can bet on either team and get 55-1 odds when the Chiefs play the Buccaneers. That's right. Bet $5, win $275 if you pick the winner of the big game this Sunday, February 7th. Think about that for a second. If you love the Chiefs in the game, if you love the Buccaneers in the game, $5 wins you $275 to just pick the winner. Bingo, bango, bongo. By the way, do you know how easy it is to use FanDuel? I use it all the time throughout the football season, as I've said many times. So easy to register, so easy to deposit. Your withdrawals, when you win, get them within at least with as little as 24 hours. Odds boost specials, they've got them all the time. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use promo code Carlin so they know the big fella sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook promo code Carlin. You got to be 21 and older, present in New Jersey or Pennsylvania. New users only. Must wager on designated boost market. Deposit required. Max bonus $275. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Oh, beautiful.
98. Celebrating Black History on 98.7 ESPN.
Whatever's going on is more than just physical.
You think it's all in my head? Tonight on the CW, I want you to go out there and be great.
This sounds intense. Might tune in.
How much pressure can you take?
Sometimes the best play isn't to spend.
Get it up on one of these newfangled TVs they got.
Where does your hiding?
How's your sanity these days, cowboy?
Before he break.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I feel like
Gothenburg, weekday mornings from 5 to 8 a.m. on 98.7 ESPN.
AutoZone has more ways for you to start
Our
your
out
job
is what,
your way.
25?
That means getting what you need fast. That's why AutoZone
I put it up on the call screen. You got
Okay.
online and pick
It's 26.
Okay.
100 AutoZone.
Cool.
Look at that. You get an extra minute.
Job can wait.
Beautiful.
AutoZone
You get to talk to Richard in Manhattan about the average points that were scored in the fourth quarter of the Nets game.
is available on over 100
You have that alarm, right?
I do.
jobs like
Okay, good.
brake pads and rotors or
That was my one fear. I'm like, wow, Carlin's gonna like need things, and I'm just gonna be like, I have no idea where any of this is.
AutoZone.
No, we're all
The
good.
Michael K Show is on.
Boy, it's getting a little obnoxious already. 24/7.
Oh, I did this. Oh my goodness.
Do you have a balcony? I do. I think there's somebody coming in behind you. John,
That's
what's
impressive that you cut it that quickly.
1, 2, 3. See
It helps when it was pre-taped it too.
has lost a 24/7 championship. Wow. First time, long time. Wow.
Congratulations on getting your title back. Don't miss the Michael K Show. Weekdays at 3 on
30 seconds.
ESPN.
Nya nya nya. Ba ba babue Zimbabwe.
Might be the worst commercial we have on this thing.
Bunsenburn.
Might be. It's up there. It really is.
South Jamie. Southeast Asian Peninsula.
Hey, Jamie?
Yes.
I think the only line we need from you today is drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Cool. I just got to finish my warm-ups. Foul, foul, throw in the towel. History.
Switch to Progressive today.
Santa ski slalom in a salmon skin suit.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
You just love Tiger. Sniff him. Sniff him dead. You guys just have a crush on Tiger. It's inhuman, it's unhealthy, and it's sick. Well, I hope Tiger, on his own terms, decides, you know what? I'm done with golf, and then you're going to have nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Sniff him. Sniff him. Sniff him.
Sniff him dead.
Sniff him. Sniff him. Sniff him. Sniff him dead. Sniff him. Sniff him. Sniff him. Sniff him dead. Sniff him. Sniff him. Sniff him. Dead. All of a sudden, not talking about how the Masters is the true star.
I'm sorry. Let it go. I don't care.
And how golf is so great because it's so difficult to master. And how it's really so great I can walk and get exercise. No, you just love Tiger. Sniff him dead. Sniff him dead.
Oh, you can't not move to that. You can't not move to that. It was... Listen, Peter's killing me before because he says I'm killing him. That was freaking brilliant, what he did with that. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. Just a few moments, about 7 or 8 minutes. We got open lines, a chance to get you in until Knicks pregame. Joe in Jersey starts us off. Joe, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm okay. The only thing I wanted to add is if I was the general manager of the Jets, I wouldn't get into a bidding war on Deshaun Watson because who's to say that they're not going to be in the same situation a year or two down the road if the Jets aren't winning to his satisfaction.
Yeah, I don't think this was just about winning or any of that, okay? Because he signed this contract less than a year ago. And I think he got a little bit fed up with everything going on in that organization. And I think there was stuff, things that related to some of the social justice issues that he didn't love. And I think they followed that up with, they listened to him at the beginning when they were talking about where they were headed with GM, with coach. And then they didn't follow up with him afterward to just say, hey, here's what we're thinking. Here's where we're going. Their communication was terrible. As much as you want to point to Watson here and say, well, he signed the contract, the organization is screwing this up, and they gave him the no trade, which is in essence not a no trade. It's trade me wherever I want to go, and when I'm ready to get out, I'll tell you. For Watson, it was a no-lose situation, and teams around the league don't want to hear this, but this is the start of something, and that's why you have to be very careful who you give the no trade to, even if you give it out anymore. If I was a team, I wouldn't give it out. I wouldn't. Sal's in Valley Stream. He's next. 98.7 ESPN. Sal, what's going on?
What up, Chris? How you doing?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I want to get in a little bit tonight about the Yankees.
Sure.
You know, this past week I was listening into Moose, and Sweeney Murdy was talking to Mark Mooses, and he said, yes, the Yankees are going to be a better team. They're going to try to succeed. And I was surprised when I found out that the Yankees are going to be better this year. Hey, Chris, also, do you remember Maggie Gray?
Yeah, she's a good friend of mine. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Cool.
Yeah, Maggie's the best. I love her to death. As far as the Yankees are concerned, are they better right now? To me, no, they're not. They're not better right now. I think more than anything, you have to look at this and say, well, if we're going to sign Kluber, who hasn't barely pitched in 2 years, now we're going to talk about bringing Brett Gardner back again. Now we're going to, do some of the other things that they have done. All right, they brought LeMahieu back. Good. That's what you're supposed to do. He's been a great player for you. Do I remember Maggie Gray? When did I work there? 40 years ago? It's like a year and a half ago. Maggie's the best. Tremendous. That'll wake you up. What's up, Richard? Have at it, my friend.
This is how bad the Brooklyn Nets defense is. They gave up 48 points in the fourth quarter to Washington. 48. They're 12 minutes in a quarter. So you're smart enough to know that's 4 points a minute, correct?
Sure. I'm not a math guy, really.
Okay, take my word. It's 4 points a minute. Now, in a minute, each team, if you figure each team has a possession, 15 seconds each, that's 2 possessions. Each team has 2 possessions in a minute. You have 2 possessions, I have 2.
Now, what time does the train leave Chicago, and what time does the other train leave New York?
All right, follow this, Chris.
Yeah.
So that means 48 points, 2 possessions a minute, and 4 points a minute. Each possession, they were scoring 2 points. In other words, Washington was just going back and forth. No 2-pointers now. They didn't miss 1 2-point shot. Every 2-point shot went in the basket to score 48 points, 2 possessions a minute for 12 minutes, and that'll give you 48 points. That's how bad the Brooklyn Nets defense is. Listen, you put Mike D'Antoni with Steve Nash and expect to get a defensive team, not going to happen. This team will never play defense. Listen, one more thing, Chris. I heard the general manager on Houston today talking about Deshaun Watson, and he referred to Deshaun Watson. He says, the player will not get traded. This guy's off the wall, Chris. This guy does not deserve to be a general manager. You don't refer to Deshaun Watson as the player.
Yeah. Thanks, Richard. You lost me somewhere around 48 minutes. Squeeze in, Bruce. I'm sorry it's short, Bruce. What's up?
Chris, I know it's early in the season. The Rangers have 5 to 7 days to stabilize the season. They have to establish Igor as the number 1 goaltender. The other night, when the Rangers lost Saturday night, that's on the coach because Igor should have been in the Nets and not the other goaltender.
Bruce, listen, I agree that they need to let one of the guys play, and I think you're right. I think it should be. And thanks for the call. And I know it's short, and I'll make it up to you next time. But the other thing is D'Angelo had to go, and that's part of what you're talking about with stabilizing the season. If it was that much of a problem, you got to get him out. All right. Knicks, Bulls coming up in just a few. Great job, Anthony Pusick. Thanks for hanging around. Carlin out. Stay handsome.
Wow, that had a little bit of everything. Some clown caller.